Welcome back for New Year. We got cleaning off gasket material to get this thing back together. Got our alignment marks down here lined up. We checked inside the cylinders, see if there's any scoring or anything like that. No stuck, nothing stuck, push rods or any of that kind of stuff. So we're gonna finish getting this gasket cleaned up, put a new gasket on there, finish putting the case back together, and then we can adjust our valve lash and go from there. All right, we got this thing running, wired up, and back to where it was before. Carburetor's cleaned, and we should be in a good spot to go for a ride here. So I'll give you the walk around. I decided to go new battery. The other one just wouldn't take a charge, so it was just easier to get a new one in there. We got a 3-inch pulley in the rear still, 6-inch crank pulley in the front. I changed my fuel line out to some black rubber hose instead of the yellow Tygon because for whatever reason the mice kept chewing on the yellow stuff. So that will hopefully stop that from happening. The valve lash is adjusted. It was out probably about 4 or 5 thousandths from where it should be, which was just enough to make this thing have way too much compression when it was trying to crank over. And the only other thing that I've done since that you guys haven't seen is the muffler on these just kind of slides over this exhaust tube. So it's a little bit louder now. I am going to make a 2-into-1 setup where these will probably go backwards, or have a 90 and then go under, and then they'll join up into a single 3-inch pipe. But we're going to start this thing up and I'll let you hear how it sounds. That's gonna do like 50. That's way too fast. I think we gotta go bigger on the rear pulley. Oh man, that's fun. Give her a couple of revs. Hell yeah. This thing's finally coming along. Well, it drives, moves, shifts, but now we get to talk about the stuff that doesn't work. Using the stock throttle linkage hooked up directly to the butterfly on the throttle. Having that hooked up on the throttle under here, the cable is so stiff that it's hard to actuate back and forth between idle and so I'm gonna run a bicycle brake cable and hook that up. We'll get rid of this. You can set the idle with the set screw on the carburetor, and then what I did on my first mower that I built back when I was like 13, around that age, is put a bicycle brake cable, wrap it around the bottom of the steering wheel once, and then it clamps on up here, so as you're steering you can hit the throttle for that. And those run a lot smoother, so I'll have better actuation with that. The gearing in the rear is way too tall, so I could either change the front crank pulley back down to the 4-inch from the 6-inch that's on there now and see how that works, or change the rear 3-inch to a 5-inch pulley that I picked up the other day. And I think that's the way I'm going to go, because this one has a lot better. It's a 5/8 shaft, and then it already has 2 set screws, one for the key and one for the side of the shaft. And then this one is steel instead of aluminum, so we'll get more usable top speed, because the way this is geared right now in 5th gear, it would honestly, at 6,000 RPM, would probably be doing around 55 miles an hour. And as fun as that might be on a lawnmower front end steering, I really don't think I need to be going that fast. So I'm gonna have to drop that rear transaxle off, and by putting this larger pulley on, it's also going to give us the space for the belt where the clutch pulley sets up. It kind of like swings like this, and by having the belt come out wider than where the 3-inch pulley, it's pinched in like that, with this 5-inch it should come out wide enough that we'll get better disengagement on the belt, so that it's easy it's easier to slow down and shift, because right now with that 92-inch, I believe, belt that's on it, it hasn't stretched out enough to be able to fully disengage. So when you are slowing down your downshift with the transaxle, you can blip the throttle and be able to downshift, but the brakes are fighting the belt still trying to spin. So I think having the larger pulley in the rear is going to take care of multiple problems as far as the belt being able to disengage easier and having more usable power. Because on this, so first gear is kind of like a crawl low gear, and then second gear it was at half throttle and already doing like 20-ish miles an hour, which is pretty quick. So imagine fifth gear steps up pretty good with that. So that will probably wrap up this video. I have lights coming for this from a buddy of mine, and we're also going to, next video, get rid of the key ignition start. It's going to be push button start, and then there'll be toggle switches for lights and headlights, and also possibly some like under lighting. And then I have a couple options for the hood itself. I can either get one and modify it, or what I was thinking of doing is making a tube chassis that comes out and around. So it'd have like a little like 1-inch halo style tube, and then come shoot back down to the subframe rail and have a couple supports. And then that way there could be like a tray on the front portion for carrying cargo. And I've been eyeballing on Facebook Marketplace. There's somebody selling a ATV rack that would fit off the back of this, and it would come out probably about 1.5 feet off of the back of this, and it's a whole tray where you could load, like, you know, water containers, or you know, a toolbox or stuff like that. And probably we'll get a small hitch set up on the back of this as well. So we got it running. Gonna get some new spark plugs for it and a couple other little things. And next video we'll start with the modifications and digging into some of the wiring and see how that goes from there. Hope everybody had a great New Year's. Hope everybody's having a good start to their 2025. And everybody come back for the next video and see what I'm up to. All right, I'll be seeing you.